Okay, well, that one, as we mentioned, $34,000. Here is 1936 Harley-Davidson EL Knucklehead. And let's not even mess around and get right to six figures, shall we? Yes, 125.
Well, the quality of the restoration and presentation speaks for itself. But, Paul, take us into 1936 Knucklehead.
Well, 36 being the first year Knucklehead.
Yep.
It's a very important motorcycle. This is the most collectible street Harley-Davidson. And the people who know these bikes are willing to pay big, big bucks for one that's right, because there's so many details you can get wrong on these bikes. They're a one-year-only model in a lot of ways because so many of the details were not carried over the next year, little things that were changed that the average person just wouldn't notice. So a really good one is worth big bucks to the right collectors who know their stuff, and this must be a good one.
Well,
go ahead, John.
Yeah, this is a good one. A guy by the name of Ken Preston, Davenport, Iowa, did the restoration. He's an expert on this type. That is the correct Venetian blue and Croydon cream paint scheme as this motorcycle was originally delivered and is believed to be, maybe the one you talk about correctness, this may very well be the most correct restored 36 Knucklehead in the world.
And look at the numbers. We're at $185,000. The reserve came off at $170, I think.
36 is always the most collectible. I had the opportunity to ride one of these over Independence Pass in Colorado. Perfectly restored 36 Knucklehead on the Cannonball. That was an epic ride, one to remember.
Cool. I need to hang out with you more often. Would that be okay with you? Can we just like tag along, man?
Well, maybe.
Good. Oh, wow.
Just kidding. Yeah, come on.
I know.
It's fun.
190, that is it. And we have a new #1 seller today so far at the Las Vegas Mecum motorcycle auction. $190,000. We talked earlier about the collectability and the popularity of the Knucklehead engine just by itself. But then when you put that together with 1936, the first year, and that level of restoration, there you go.
Yep. And that's about what they've been hovering at the last few years.
All right, here is the 1935 Indian 4 Magneto that we told you about right before the last break.
And before we let Paul get into the significance of this bike, you can see clearly the Magneto, very large Magneto, looks like something that would come on an aircraft at the time period, probably shares a lot of the same parts, providing the spark that actually makes the engine operate.
That's right. And a lot of times if you need to rebuild your Magneto, you go to an aircraft specialist.
There you go.
Because they know what to do.
Yep.
Still a lot of planes that use those. Antique plane.
Former aircraft mechanic, seriously, and it does look familiar.
So 35, this is the last year of the old William Henderson base design from Ace. Of course, there were lots of changes that Indian made to it. They made it a 5-bearing crankshaft instead of a 3. The next year, they changed everything up. This is an inlet over an exhaust design. They changed it to an exhaust over inlet for 2 years. So, but what I love about these bikes is the styling. You know, Indian across the range under DuPont just did a brilliant, brilliant job of creating these sweeping fenders, the teardrop streamlined tank, the rear fenders even sweeps back with the shape of it emphasized by the pinstriping. It's just kind of perfection. Of course, 4 cylinders are rare. I'm sure they lost money on every single one they sold, but it was their range leader. It was kind of their identity. It showed what they could do. So they kept building them until World War II.
$125,000. The reserve is off. This bike and that EL Knucklehead we just saw before it, part of the Craig Venter collection.
Dr. Craig J. Venter, yep. He was a real researcher and knew his stuff about early motorcycles.
And this one just sold for $135,000.